I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter.
This is the Family Showdown! Howdy folks, welcome to Family Showdown. I'm Rebecca and this is Hunter. How's it going?
It's going good.
We're back for more of my top 100 games of all time. We're getting better and better every week. Why? Because this week we're going from 70 to 61. So obviously these were better, or at least I feel like they're better, than last week's list, which was already awesome. So let's start with more awesomeness.
I hope they're getting better.
Wow. Oh, by the way, this is my fellow troll who will leave with commentary and shenanigans while I talk about these games.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what you got.
All right. I can't wait to hear what you're going to troll about. This one, my number 70.
Oh, my.
I know you have lots of opinions about the race for the galaxy. A lot of people have replaced this with a newer model, but I still like playing with cards, and I like the card version of this. So what you're doing, you've got a bunch of different world cards, and you get resources, you get planets, and you get different things that help you build up your resources, and you're working towards getting a certain number of points, basically, and getting a number of cards, and each card has points on them, so once you've accumulated the max amount, it triggers the end of the game, you count out how many points you have, boink, that's it. In short, that's basically what you're doing with the game. But inside of it, I don't know, it's just got really cool artwork, a really fun space theme. I just really enjoy this game. The only thing that can slow people down when you're first playing it is, as everyone probably has complained before, is the iconography. Learning the different symbols they have on the cards the first time you're playing it feels like a bit much. And I totally get that. But once you get it, and if you play it frequently enough, I don't know, I really enjoy the way that works. Because, like, for example, I don't know, let me see. Let me show you. Let me show you. You can kind of, these are little, I don't know if I can zoom in enough here. Let me find a card. For example, we have the spaceport here. And you can look, and up in the corner, you're going to see a blue circle. Okay, well, that's going to produce that kind of good, for example. And then you've got these with red circles around the edge. That has to do with military, so they do something different. So you notice how this one's not filled in, this one has an outline, it does something different. They all have something different that they do. And learning that at first is pretty tricky, but once you get the hang of that, it's really fun. What's really neat about this game is that you're selecting an action. And you have 6 different actions that you can pick from. And you're going to secretly pick which action you want to do. Now, when you lay down this action, you're going to get to do a bonus action because that's the action that you picked. But other people can also kind of piggyback on that, and they'll have a secondary action that's not quite as cool, but they get to do that action as well. So there's a lot of good choices. You can develop a planet, or develop the development cards, or explore and draw more cards. Let's see here. Produce products on the worlds based off of what color the world is. That's the kind of production that you get. You trade those in for various points. There's a lot going on in this game. Once you get past the iconography, the game's actually not difficult to play. A lot of fun. I like it with just about any player count. And that is Race for the Galaxy. Go ahead. We're all waiting.
I don't dislike this game.
Okay.
It's my 130.
Really? It is in your top 1 billion. Okay.
It made the very, very long list. Yeah, I like it. I prefer a certain other game more. But it's good. It's good. We play this game so infrequently. It's like a full relearning of the game almost when we play it, because we're staring at the icons and going, okay, what does this one mean? The little hands and the little 2 arrows, and what does that mean? And it's a bit daunting. Now, someone that plays this regularly and gets used to those icons, this is a very quick game. It's very smooth. It's easy to play. If you're used to playing and you've played, you know what the icons are, and you don't have to look them up every time you get a new card to go, what does this do again? So, yeah, It's a good one.
Yep.
I don't have any complaints. I figured it would be higher on your list than mine because you like little card games, and this is definitely a little card game.
And it's a space card game. And like the box says, 30 to 60 minutes. When you know what you're doing, that's definitely pretty accurate, I think.
Yep.
So, there you have it. Race for the Galaxy. My number 70. My next one, we haven't played in a while. But it obviously... Oh, I forgot to tell you. Before I jump ahead, this was number 29 on my list last year. Yeah, it's dropped significantly, and I think that's mostly because, well, we just don't get it played.
Yep.
Sadly. Yep. Anyway, back to my next one. My numbers 69 is one that we haven't played in a long, long while, but it stuck with me enough and made an impression, and it is new to the list this year. And it is this heavy monstrosity stuffed with cardboard called Fields of Arle. Good old Uwe Rosenberg strikes again with all of his millions of excellent choices. And this time it's a farm theme. You're building it up. Building up your engine like you always do with his, where it starts out you feel like you're hardly able to get anything done, and by the end of the game you're doing 20 different things at once. It's just amazing how these games come together, and I like the art with this one. I like the theme, and I feel like it just plays, and it's just a really pleasant game to play. And especially if you like Uwe, you like all the choices. This is another one of those of his where it seems like you're just picking amongst good choices when you're trying to do that. And this one plays right at an hour also. But the iconography
a little more than that,
on this,
probably.
yeah, I think it probably goes a little more than an hour for us. This is easier to figure out, though, than Race for the Galaxy, I think, because his stuff is a little more self-explanatory. But like all of his other games, he's got the cute little tiles, and there's 10 million of them that all go on all these different areas for all the different choices. But you have horses, and the cows are what crack me up. Pull out a cow so you can see a cow. These crack me up. You had to put stickers on, but they're worth it because look at those cows! On. That is adorable. So yeah, and you've got little sheep and black cubes. Ooh. Okay, not so exciting all of it, but anyway. But it's a really neat game. I enjoy it, and I'm actually looking forward to playing this again sometime soon. Because I just like the way Uwe's games play and how smooth they are and how quickly your engine builds up from doing barely nothing. It still blows my mind how that happens every game of his. Yeah. You start out going, gosh, I really want to get this done, but I have to build up a little bit. And the next thing you know, you don't even realize it's happening sometimes. It's just next thing you know, you've got all these different choices and things build and they chain off of each other. And this, again, does not disappoint. Fields of Arle.
Yep, this is the only big box 2-player game we have. We don't have, what are the other 2 players? Glass Road and a few of the others.
Oh, yeah, we don't have, that's true.
You like this one more than me. I'm shocked. It's my number 94.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, basically the same territory. I don't know. I really, really, really enjoy this game, and it's really great. It's balanced well for 2-player, but the thing is, I enjoy almost all of his games 2-player, right?
Yeah.
So this is competing with the likes of Le Havre and Caverna and Feast for Odin and all the good games, all the games we like of his. This one kind of just, I don't know, doesn't really stand out from the others. So that's why it's kind of a little lower. It probably needs more plays, and maybe that'll make my decision.
I don't know. I have something about when they do a nice farm theme. I really enjoy those for whatever reason. I couldn't even tell you why, but
farm themes?
No. No. But it seems like, I don't know. We have several games with this kind of theme that I really like them. I don't know. It's kind of like...
I like the little wagons.
Yeah. That's true. They're cute, too. The cows kill me, though. Those cows are great. But that's my number 69, and that is Fields of Arle. Next up is another one that's new to my list. And this one I bet is on your list, I'm guessing.
Guessing?
I'm guessing that it's on your list.
I've marked very few off my list, so I hope start peering on my list.
I'm thinking that you call this one, is this the one that you call TI3 Lite?
No, I call it TI3 the Euro game.
Oh, okay, there you go. I knew you referred to this with the TI3 in mind. This is TI3 the Euro game. This is Eclipse. I know you're all shocked. Another space game. I love space games. I think they're awesome. And this one does not disappoint. This one's a lot more area control, fighting, attacking, and taking over things.
Yeah.
And usually I'm not real keen on that, but I really like the way this game works. I like the way they designed it. I like the way it looks. I mean, you've got bright yellow spaceships, people. That's crazy. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. Because some of these, honestly, a lot of them kind of almost blur together because a lot of them that I really like do a lot of similar things. Oh, there you go. You got the maps out. Good. But the engine builder, the tech with this is so cool.
Yeah, you have the different ships. You can purchase techs and build up different ships in different ways. You have a cool thing where you take off discs, like another game I enjoy greatly. You take off discs to upgrade different areas, and it's just got all kinds of cool.
It's got a lot of stuff going on, and it's kind of individual for you too. Yep. And you're picking and choosing what you want to do with your ships. It's never going back. We're just gonna leave it there forever. But yeah, it's a really cool game, and they say it's roughly 30 minutes a player, and I think that's probably a little bit short. I think it goes a little longer than that.
Well, we've only played this a few times, so it's still kind of
true. If you knew what you're doing, that's probably about right.
Yeah, and we've never played with any expansions. There's tons and tons of expansions for it. We just play the base game.
Base game's fun.
And the 2-player variant, the variant is you just take the diplomacy or whatever out of the game. You just remove the that because it doesn't make any sense because you're only 2 of you, right?
2 of you, yeah. There's no point, and that is such a minor change that I honestly don't feel like we're missing really much with that. I don't feel like it's such a huge
The only other thing I noticed with 2 players is that we really didn't have a lot of interaction until the very end.
That's true. This is one of those where you possibly could avoid each other in just a 2-player. I'd be curious. I don't think we've played this with more than 2 yet. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd be curious to see how that goes because I think you're right. We'd kind of be forced to be thrown together sooner with more players.
Yep.
But it'd be worth giving it a try, and it's really fun little game.
Yeah, it really focuses in on the technology and upgrades more than any of the other space games.
Yeah, and I like the way that the technology works and chains off of each other with this one. So if you enjoy doing tech tree stuff, you need to try out Eclipse. Pretty awesome. And that is my number 68.
It was my 41.
Wow, see, he likes that game a lot.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a good game. Good game. It might even go higher with more plays for me, honestly, because of that.
We need to play it with more than 2.
I agree. All right, so my next up is an oldie but a goodie. It was number 58 on my list last year, so it's staying pretty strong here at 67. And that is Dixit. This is like classic game for us now. We've had this forever. Gosh, did we get this when it came out? I think we got this the year it came out.
What year?
I think 2010 it says on it. So yeah, it's been a while, to say the least.
Yeah.
And we haven't played it as much recently, but oh my goodness, this came out every single game group for the longest time.
Yeah, we actually added our own little meeples and things and stuff.
I should show you
made our own little cards to get it up to
our players.
We played 8 players, I think.
The cards have
exploded. We made little crappy little cardboard cutouts to get it to 8 people.
Yes, and we added a bunch of expansion cards to mix it up too. And yeah, we've got our meeples and Luke Skywalker.
Just throwing stuff.
Or is this Han?
Han.
Oh yeah, that's Han. Han's riding a tauntaun here.
Yeah, we have.
He's one of our extra players.
We have
Han and Luke, I think, are. I don't know where
Luke is.
Oh, here he is. Yeah, see, we added our figures. We have Luke. So we have bunnies and Luke and Han on our game. And this is the board. I love the way they did the box. It's kind of hard for you to see it, but the scoreboard, where Han and Luke are hopping around here, has the score around the track, so you can run around the track here. And the first person to cross over, actually it's after a certain number of rounds, whatever, but whoever has the most points wins, like every other game. But you get to pick, and you get this hand of really wacky cards. I mean, they're... Let's see here. These look almost tame in comparison to some of the others we have. Oh, here we go. This one's always so special. So yeah, what is going on there? Only you can decide that. But the fun thing is you can say one word, one phrase, a whole story. Doesn't matter. You could be like Cinderella. And you're going to put a card down that you think at least one person, but not everyone, is going to guess. And then everyone else is going to put a card down that they think will confuse that and get someone else to vote for their card. And you get points if people vote on your card or if you get it right and things like that. A lot of fun.
That's not Cinderella.
Not even a little bit. Good luck figuring this one out, people. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we've had so much fun, and the stories and things you get out of this. This is one of those that, for me, we've got so many good memories attached to this. There's actually a couple of cards in this game that I cannot play with now because I associate specific games and things with those cards that every time I see them now, I just kind of laugh because that's what I think of. It's a super fun game. This is all, again, language free, so you could play this in a foreign language class if you wanted to, or you could do a lot of fun things with this. You could play this with people that, you know, don't speak English. Not a big deal because they're all language-free cards. Have a lot of fun with this. And that is Dixit. It is definitely stood the test of time very well in our group. Is that going to fit? Nope, of course not. It's going to be exciting. You get to watch us mess up our boxes. Okay. So. Yeah,
Dixit was my, where is it? I just had it a second ago. 109. So it's almost made my list, which is saying something for that light of a game.
Yeah, especially since we haven't played it in a little while.
What was it before for you?
For me, it was 58, and now it's to 67. Oh, that's right. So it's holding pretty steady. It's holding pretty steady.
Yep.
So my next game, I think, is much higher on Hunter's list. And mine, it was 28 last year. It has dropped quite a bit, but still going pretty strong. And that is this beast of cardboard goodness.
Oh my gosh, this low?
Caverna!
Oh, that is
Does that
criminal.
make you sad? Oh.
That is criminal.
I think, honestly, I don't know. I think we need to get more plays in. We've started to get more plays in again. Why, you ask? This is one of those games. I absolutely love this game. And again, shocker of all shockers, this is the second Uwe Rosenberg on my list this time in the top 10. It's in my 10 this week, and I find that interesting. But this game has a problem for us. It has so many pieces that setting up and putting away this game is horrible. So I recommend, if you really fall in love with this game, it is worth the investment to do like what we did and bust out and get one of those inserts. Because I will show you. You pull this out. I'm pulling out the boards. Oh, there's so many boards. Oh, the cardboard. And then, check this out, peeps. We go yoink. And, actually, I could leave this in the box. But I'll show you. There's this. We set up those boards. We're ready to play. I don't need to sort any of these. They're all here. They're easy for us to pick out. The tiles are organized, so you can just pull them up and go. Everything is right here. All the different little player tokens. The score mat. All of it right here. That has saved this game for us. Because I don't think we'd ever play this game. It took forever. We had all of these in individual baggies, and then you dump them out and sort them. And as you can see, there's a ton of them. Don't get me wrong. They're amazing. We've got little sheafs of wheat, pumpkins. It's crazy. Weird shaped, tear-looking rock things. Sticks of wood. Sheep, pigs, donkeys, cows, even little sheepdogs that are sitting watching their sheep. Stinking adorable. Okay, this game is great, but it has a lot of components. So I do recommend that. But what you're doing, what the game is actually about, is you are dwarves. And you've got your farming and your animals to take care of. And then you've also got your mining industry. So you want to build up your mines and get rubies and all the victory points involved with that. But you also want to raise some animals, raise some crops, try to fill in that area. And the neat thing is, I think it's balanced well enough, don't you, that any one of those, like if you focus in on those, is a viable way to win.
Yep.
You probably don't want to completely neglect any of them, but if you do a little bit of that and then really focus on one, you can still win. It's a really neat game. Love this game. One of my favorite parts to it is the fact that your dwarves not only do all those things, but they can go adventuring. And depending on what level they are and that you can level them up, they get better goodies and loot after doing their adventures. So, super fun game. I always go adventuring if I can. I think they're awesome. Look at that. And this is the longest part right here, was packing this part up. And then poof, we're done. It's awesome. It's well worth getting the insert for this game. So that's it. And that is Caverna.
So what was it last year you said?
Last year was 28.
Yeah, so it's my number 25.
Yeah, he's still like really
it actually went up from last year.
Because of the insert, probably?
Yeah, and we played it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy this game. It's like she said, I like that there's different paths to victory. You don't have to... You need to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really go, okay, if you don't do this one thing, then you're going to lose, right? Yeah. And the feeding your people, unlike Agricola, which a lot of people compare this to, it's not as punitive. It's easy to feed your people. If you need some food, you kill a cow and you got food.
Yeah, you're good to go.
So there's that aspect of it. You're going to need food, but you're going to just naturally have food if you're playing the game. It's not going to be like you have to go, okay, I got to focus in. How am I going to feed 4 guys this time?
Well, and the neat thing is if you're focusing in on the mines too, you can trade in rubies for just about anything. They're like a wild in this game. So worst case scenario, you feed your people rubies.
Or you go to a spot that has a bunch of food on it.
There's that too. But yeah, a lot of good options to choose from with Caverna. Woo! Well, that was random. Okay. We are onward and upward to my number 65. This one has dropped also. It was number 39 on my list last year. It's number 65 this year. But honestly, it's holding strong, and I think the only reason it's dropped at all is just there's been so many amazing games that have come in, and I haven't gotten to play this one as much recently. And that is Among the Stars. Among the Stars is a space-themed game. Again, I know you're shocked, right? But this one is a card placement game, and you're going to you're building up your space station. And the proximity of some cards to other cards are going to give you bonuses or detriments depending on how you build that. You need to have certain ones next to power sources. You need to build up places where you can have your alien people staying and they have their own environment. I love the way this game plays out because at the end, you've built your own space station. Some of the bonus points go off of what he might have built on his tableau too, like just the number of weapons in the game or something like that. You got special bonuses like that. That kind of reminds me of what is it, like Machikoro and some of those, or not Machikoro, Suburbia, where you get a bonus because of certain things that are just present in the game and stuff like that, or some things don't work if this other thing's out. And so you got to juggle all of that and keep track of what your opponent's buying, as well as building up the best and most efficient space station that you have. I really enjoy building games like this, and the theme is also a lot of fun. Well-designed game, Among the Stars.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like especially playing with the races or whatever,
the
alien races.
The alien races are cool.
I find it interesting that you like this one better than Fields of Green, which is basically... Yeah. Fields of Green is basically a reskin of this, just kind of slightly tricked up. And I like Fields of Green better than this one. So it's interesting. I guess probably it's theme for you, and
you like the mechanisms for you.
Logistics of Fields of Green kind of appeal to me. So
yeah,
that's a good one. It's quick, man. This game, boom, you're done.
Yeah,
it's super fast.
It is. It looks like more of a game, like a more intimidating game than it actually is, which I think is kind of interesting too.
Yeah, it's card drafting.
No,
card placement. Super easy.
Check it out. It's not as difficult as it looks. It looks more meaty than I think it is. Very fun one. That is my 65. My 64 is new to the list this year. And
did I say what it was for me? I didn't think I say.
Oh, for Among the Stars? No, you didn't.
Among the Stars, 144.
Shamey. But this one... I love this one. Number 64.
Oh, dear.
Clank. Oh, dear. Why do you say oh, dear? It's a deck building adventure. I love deck builders. And this game cracks me up. What you're doing is you're building your deck, and you have a little adventure dude, and you're going to go sneaking down into this area and try to get treasures without waking up the dragon. Because once that dragon's awake, it is going to kill you. So what you're doing is you're sneaking around. The clank is the noise that you and your armor make as you're stomping around looking for treasure. And of course, there are certain cards that you can draft for your deck that is better equipment. Or maybe it helps you move much faster, but it makes a lot of noise and things like that. So we've had some great playthroughs with this game where somebody will go flying in, but it sounds like they're just flinging, metal pots and pans at walls as they go, making lots of noise. And every time you make Clank, as they call it, you're putting one of your colored cubes into a bag with the dragon stuff. And when the dragon gets angry or the dragon stirs, you're going to pull out a certain number of cubes out of that bag, and that's how people get damage. So you don't want to have a lot of Clank, you don't want a lot of damage, you don't want to have your colored cube come out of these bags, but you keep throwing more and more in to get better opportunities and this and that, and next thing you know, you're running for your life from a dragon. So just a really fun theme around an interesting deck building mechanism. So
yep, I really like this one. This is my 42.
There you go.
I enjoyed every play of this. Now, I do have a question, because you recently played Clank in Space.
I did.
After making your list. So how does it compare?
That's really tough for me. To me, they're two different games. I know a lot of people say, oh, Clank in Space completely replaced it for me. And normally a sci-fi version of this would probably replace it for me, because fantasy kind of just seems overwrought, right? I like the simplified game just as much as I like the little more meaty version of the space game. They're just different enough that, to me, I guess it depends on what kind of mood you're into to play. So if you really, really, really like this game, you're like, oh, I don't know if it's worth, you may want to give both of them. I hear some people say, oh, you need to get just the space one or one or the other over the other, but I like this one. I think it's fun, and the theme with it is just interesting. The space one has some interesting mechanisms too, where the way you maneuver across the board is different. You have some kind of teleporting, transporting mechanisms. You also have one that's almost like kind of reminds me of those speedy walkways at the airport.
Yeah, a little conveyor
so
belt thing.
Yeah, you're like conveyor belted through there. And this one, you're mostly just walking through. You don't have anything special like that going on in this game. It's much more simplified, but there's different things at play. It just depends on your tastes, and I would recommend trying them both out, to be honest, because I think they're both really fun and just different enough. So if you like more of the same, I guess.
Well, my personal impression is that you like the space one a lot better.
I do love the space one a lot.
Because you were oohing and awing over the cards and talking about how...
Oh, that's true. That's true. The cards were hilarious. I forgot about that. They made some cheesy sci-fi references. I forgot about the flavor text on those. You want to read all the little stuff at the bottom of each card because of the things they put on there. I did. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I don't think they did that.
I'm curious how they're going to fall out next year.
Yeah, I'm curious too. But they didn't do that in Clank, did they?
No, there's a little bit of it.
A little bit, but not to the extent that the sci-fi one was. So there you go. But yeah, love Clank. 64. All right, my number 63 was 68 last year. So it's about the same. It went up a little bit. And that game might surprise Hunter, but maybe not, is a family favorite, Stone Age. I know a lot of people think this is like a super simple, this is a great, if you want to introduce somebody to worker placement games, this is one of the best go-to introductory gateway games for this. The theme's cute, it's easy to teach, it's easy to learn, it's just a fun, engaging game. And I think one of the reasons that it's gone up even a little bit is now both of my kiddos can play this on their own. They enjoy it and have had some great teaching experiences with this game and gotten a lot of people interested in playing more board games because of this game with Stone Age. It's just a really fun game. Some people get sick of it. I haven't gotten sick of it yet. I haven't had that happen because I guess just the excitement of bringing new people to this game every single time has really left that impression on me, and it's just a really easy, simple game. You go and you're trying to build up your tools and get resources so you can buy special cards that give you victory points, and if you run out of food for your guys, you can send as many as you want to go hunting, and you're rolling dice in a little leather cup. The theme is just cute. The art's pretty. The little resource pieces, you have little planks of wood, little tiny bricks, and it's just a really cute game that looks pretty on the table, and it's super fun to teach. I've had great experiences with Stone Age.
So, I'm one of those people that's sick of it. And let me say what I mean by that. So I do enjoy it, playing it with the kids. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a solid game. If I was going to introduce someone to the worker placement mechanism, this would be one of the first ones I would pick. But if I'm going to go play a game, there is probably 30 worker placement games I would pick before this one at this point. Just because this one is kind of very distilled down game, right? It's put a worker somewhere, get some resources, spend those resources to buy victory points. Is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah.
It's very simplistic, very streamlined, which is good and bad. Like I said, it's great for an introductory game. It's great for kids when they're breaking into these kind of games. But I believe the worker placement games as a whole have advanced since this game came out. And this game came out. When did it come out? 2008. So it's been 10 years now. So it's been 10 years of improvement on worker placement games, and there's just, like I said, there's just so many worker placement games I would pick before this one. Even some introductory worker placement games I would pick before this one. So.
I can see that, but I don't see this theme very often, and the art I notice has drawn a lot of attention still, and I get good results with it. So
no, it's a great intro game.
No.
Then you open them their eyes to a whole new world.
Yes.
So it is my 167.
Whoa, it's on the list. It's on the list.
Barely hanging on. It's like hanging on the edge going,
help me.
Keep playing me, please. I'm like, I've played you 100 times, Stone Age. No more.
Wow. You had a whole conversation with this game. And it's on record now. Special.
All right, what you got?
Okay.
How about one that's on my, top 60 or so?
Not likely. All right. My number 62 was my number 50 last year. So it's dropped some. Okay. And I think that's because it just hasn't gotten played much. Partly because we're not real crazy about the 2-player variant, although we may try a new variant soon. And that is for Hombre. I love this game. This was one of the first games that we started playing a lot when we got into board gaming and stuff. And it's a neat little, you have a little palace and you're building all these different buildings off of it. And you also have a wall on the outside of each tile that if you build this continuous wall, you get a whole bunch of extra victory points at the end of the game for it. The fun part that I enjoyed of this game is it's got a very simple, almost like Ticket to Ride-esque turn. You're either going to make, you only have 2 choices. You're going to draw a card, and they're colored coins. That's your money and your currency, what you're going to use to buy the tiles. Or you're going to place a tile. That's basically it. So it's really easy to teach the basis of the game, and then it just takes a little while for you to get the strategy down, which I really enjoy that aspect to it. And then, of course, the buildings are color-coded. And so there's like 3 rounds, I want to say, 3 scoring rounds, where you get whoever's got the most of each color group is going to get a certain set of victory points, and you score along the way. You do that each time. And there's 4 different colored coins. They don't correspond because what happens is you flip the tiles over on those, and then whatever currency they're in, that's what you have to use to buy. So you're trying to save up, and if you get exact change when you pay for one, you get an extra turn and you can buy another one. So much going on, but it's such a basic, simple game, but a lot of fun strategy with it. I just love playing this game.
You're so passionate about this
I like this game. You may or may not know this, I'm not really a huge fan of playing board games on my phone because I'd much rather just play the board game. But I had this on my phone for a while because I love playing Hombre and I wasn't getting to play it with anyone, so I was playing it on my phone. I like it. I'm saying I like Hombre. This game.
This is another great introductory game. It's funny there's so many introductory games that are on your list.
I know, this is like the 10 of introductory. I don't know.
I enjoyed this game. Like she said, we played this game to death early on. We played it all the time. It came out at almost every game day. Yeah. We played it and played it and played it and played it. And now...
It's faded, and I don't know why. I like it. I don't get sick of playing games over and over again. You really like to get into the new stuff and try new things and learn new rules and stuff.
Well, that and this is crazy light. It's crazy, crazy light.
It is
crazy old, but it's a good game.
Crazy old.
It is 15 years old.
Okay, now I feel old. If this is old...
15 years, that's like lifetime in board game terms, right?
That's true. No, really and truly. But I think that also speaks to how great this game is, that it's that old, and it's got that kind of stay power for me. Because there's not very many games on my list where I'm going to be like, hey, did you know this game is 15 years old? You know, there's a lot of them are within the last 8 years, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
But this one is older, and it's good, and it's still a great game. And the app is really fun. It's not quite the same thing, though.
It's funny that Alhambra and Stone Age are next to each other on the list, and mine are close to each other, too. So my Stone Age was 167. This is 170.
Wow!
Another one that's barely hanging on.
It's like I took my list and you just went, whoop,
yeah.
and stuck it down lower on
Added 100 places to it. Which is starting to get me wondering, is like, there's going to be a lot of games on my list that are not on your list.
I know.
And you're going to have to give reasons.
I have to give reasons. No, you should have to give reasons.
I'll give reasons. They're good games.
Oh, man.
No, excuse me. They're great games. Wow. All right. Let's wrap her up.
All right. The last one today was 81 on my list last year. It has jumped up 20 spaces.
Wow.
Do you know why?
Wow.
Because we've had some awesome, really fun plays, including one versus you, Internet. Actually, a couple plays versus you guys.
Oh, okay.
Timeline challenge. Yeah.
Huh.
No, this game,
okay.
The more we play it, the more fun I have with it. I haven't learned anything new. I'm not doing any better at it, I'd say. But that's not the point, obviously.
You beat the internet up.
I did beat up the internet. But I usually get whooped by people in person, so maybe it's just magical with the internet. I have no idea. But what's going on is the timeline games, that you have these great little tins of cards, and you just play timeline. You've got cards, and they could be American history or scientific inventions. They even have some animal ones and things like that. But what happens is you've got those, and you play a game where you try to you guess if it's earlier or later than a card, and whoever is able to lay theirs down with making the least amount of errors is going to win the game. They took those cards from those tins and built a board game around it. So now you take mini games of timeline and put it into this challenge that kind of reminds me almost of like a cranium style board. So you're rolling your dice, you move, well actually you don't roll the dice and move on the game. You actually can only move if you win points in the challenges. So you have a challenge, whoever wins that challenge is going to move forward, and then depending on where you land on the board is what type of challenge you're going to do next. So you've got a challenge where they'll put down one card, and you have to guess the exact year that event happened. And whoever gets each digit right is going to get a point and get to move forward. Or you're going to have 4 cards put out, and you have to put them in chronological order. And whoever gets the chronological order correct is going to get a point for each and gets to move that many spaces on the board. And then there's sudden death challenges where you play like a mini game of timeline really quickly, and whoever wins that gets to move ahead. Super fun game. It's amazing how funny and competitive this game gets after you get going too. Super fun. I really enjoy that. Because, don't get me wrong, the timeline game's fun, but it is very laid back and it's very simple. You're basically just putting cards, making a literal timeline out of it. This takes that game up a notch and really does make a true, almost like game show quality board game like battle out of it.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
So, I love it. I have a blast with it.
So yeah, the timeline itself games are not anywhere remotely on my list. And this one didn't make my list either, but it made my long list, I guess is what you call it. So it's my 151.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. It's fun. I probably wouldn't turn around playing it, but it's not one I would grab off the shelf if I was making the choice myself.
Well, it's not a heavy euro, so.
All my list is heavy euros. My number one game is not a euro.
But it's heavy.
It's very heavy.
See? Case in point.
To pick up. All right.
This one is not.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
So there you have it. A very wide variety of games for this one with my 70 through 61. Stay tuned with us and check out the next set next week. See you later.